This is the Padua Podcast Network.
Running a Fever, episode 316. I finally got COVID. Friday, June 11, 2022. A date that will live in infamy is when I started having symptoms of COVID-19. After 2 years of living cautiously, according to CDC guidelines, and a full 2.5 years after we first hear about the SARS-CoV-2 virus, it finally happened. I remember in the early days, there was a CDC quote that indicated everyone in the United States would eventually be exposed to the virus. For months, we got daily updates on the spread of the disease and reminders of precautionary measures. These turned into weekly briefings, and now there is hardly anything at all. I can't even remember the last time I checked the stats for my state. In March of 2021, I reported that COVID had already decreased average life expectancy in the United States by 1.13 years. For that episode, go to runningafever.com/252. But by summer of 2021, stats had gotten so much better in the United States, transmission was very low in my locality, and things were looking up. Mask restrictions had been cut back, and for me, a key event of that time is burned in my memory. It was about this time of year, great weather here in Northwest Arkansas, of course. A friend had gotten great tickets to the Chicago concert here at the outdoor venue, Arkansas Music Pavilion, also known as the AMP. Now, Chicago is one of my favorite bands. They have hits spanning across decades. I can think of times in my life when those songs, remind me, when those songs were new, they remind me of those times. And so, I was glad to go to see Chicago. I'd never seen them before. They were just getting back from their year of COVID exile, and this was one of their first shows. They were excited to be there playing for us. The crowd was ecstatic, it seemed, just to be out in public without having to stay 6 feet apart and wear masks and not even shake hands. We were really caught up in it, and it was about the best time I've had in a long while. We thought the nightmare was finally over. Then things got worse. Much worse, spiking to hundreds of thousands of new cases. The Delta variant had been discovered in the previous year, which was more contagious than the original virus. Vaccines were being distributed, but were limited in supply. By November, the Omicron variant had been discovered, which multiplies 70 times faster than the Delta variant, and it soon became the overwhelming majority of cases. In early 22, my county in Arkansas was seeing hundreds of new cases a day. Now we're back to thinking it's over. I rarely bother checking stats. Transmission is low in my county. Due to my injury, I'm still working from home all the time, but somehow I got this thing. Now, I don't know if it's the Omicron variant, but it probably is. Anyway, late last week, let's call it Friday, I started noticing a reduction in my sense of taste. Nothing tasted good. My appetite hadn't changed, I just couldn't find anything I wanted. Saturday, I started having nasal congestion and drainage. Later in the day, I became very tired and had body aches. Sunday and Monday, I was pretty much sleeping all day. I only got up in the evening to watch some videos and eat a small and only meal of the day. And using the free home rapid response test, I got a positive result on Monday. Tuesday, I was feeling a little better. I went to the doctor's office and saw the nurse practitioner there, and she said that the home rapid response test is very reliable when the test is positive, and didn't see a need for a PCR test. I asked why I had a more severe set of symptoms, considering I'd been vaccinated and had the 2 booster shots too. She said the vaccines were exactly the same as when they were first released. In the meantime, the virus has mutated, but the vaccine will still help prevent serious conditions like hospitalization, being on a ventilator, death, etc. She related that she lasted until January 2022 before she got it, which is awesome considering she works in the medical field and probably was seeing lots of COVID-positive people. But she was very sick as well during that time. There were two options for treatment. One involved a new drug called Paxlovid. We first heard about it as remdesivir, you might remember. The second was basically just treating the symptoms. A Z-Pak, which is azithromycin, and a steroid that I would take for 5 days. This is the option I chose, though I don't think I got the fifth steroid because my cat moved it under something. So it's somewhere in my house, probably. The bubble package was just too crinkly and shiny for her to resist. The nurse practitioner also said that symptoms could get better or worse day to day, but fortunately I've been getting better ever since. Guidelines say I can be around others now, socially distanced with a mask. But I'm contagious for 20 days and I'm going to try to quarantine that long just to play it safe. So COVID-19 is still something to be concerned about, and it's still important to get vaccinated and test yourself if you think you might have been exposed. The home rapid response test kit that I used is available for free at covidtests.gov/tests. That's also in the show notes and the blog at runningafever.com/316. It's real easy. 2 clicks, enter your address, and it's in your mailbox a few days later. Everyone should keep a couple of these around for an easy test option. The directions are kind of complicated, but after the first one, it's not that hard to do. There's an app, but I didn't use it. It gives you a timer, which I already have, and reporting functionality, which, I went to the doctor, so I assume it was reported. But that's it. So I finally got it, and, nobody is completely immune from this. Even if you've been careful, even if you've been vaccinated, you still can get it. But fortunately, I didn't die. I didn't go on a ventilator, and I didn't have to go to the hospital. So those are good things. And I'll be able to kind of tell you more later on long-term effects because now I've experienced it personally. So thank you for listening. I hope this was helpful to anyone out there who has had or has not had COVID yet. If you hadn't, I pray that you don't ever have it. But if you do, you can survive, possibly. I did anyway. So if you got the fever, keep it. If you don't, catch the fever. And I will talk to you next time on Running a Fever.